I had marriage proposals. I had people I dated. I could have lived monogamy just fine. Planned to live plural marriage. And, you know, each one of them at different times was like, that's not something I want to do.
I almost feel like turning the table and saying, well, do you want to get back in plural marriage?
Somebody who was really supportive and...
It's very interesting, isn't it? Obviously, when you listen to Robin in this new season. And to be honest with you, I feel like a lot of different things definitely happened within the first episode. And yeah, there will be more videos coming out, obviously, throughout this week regarding that first episode itself. But let's unpack the main event, or at least what I think was the main event, and that was the conversation between Robin and Kody. That's it. And yeah, so obviously they talk about plural marriage, obviously getting back into it, whether it's worth it or not. And it is quite interesting to hear, obviously, Robin say that initially, before, you know, Kody was even in the picture, that she had offers from multiple men that wanted to be with her. But of course, her standards was, well, I want to be in plural marriage. And they all said no, which is what ultimately, I guess, led her to Kody. And obviously, it seems to me now, this moment in time, her and Kody have obviously been in a monogamous relationship for quite some time. So the question really does bring here is, you know, are they going to go back into it or not? So let's get into it.
Really wanted to work and really wanted a relationship with me as well as with you. Not just you. It was going to be okay, and it was going to be wonderful, and it was going to be what I always dreamed it was supposed to be. Be something to really, truly consider.
So obviously, this is something that was supposed to happen with somebody that we obviously don't know about. Sadly, we don't really find out why it didn't happen. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure we all want to know, but why did that not happen? Well, you know what I mean? Like, why did it fall through?
Motivation, I'm afraid, at this state in my life,
Yeah.
would be, yeah, just how good looking she is. I'd be able to connect.
So you don't understand how you're coming across.
I know I'm a guy.
For me, I'm like, okay, well, so you have the real relationship with me, but then she's just what, a concubine? Because that's pretty much what that is. You're saying you would never.
I mean, to be fair, we all know that that's not how a relationship would ever work. You know what I mean? No woman's gonna come in to be the piece that he obviously sleep with, while Robin is the one he has the emotions with. Obviously, any woman that's gonna agree with it is obviously going to require that emotional support from him. You know, there's going to be that connection. But the question is, though, is this what he really meant, though? Let's get into it.
Put this at risk. But you're saying the only reason why you would do it is for.
But that's not a good enough reason.
Okay.
My point is, it's not a good enough reason.
So obviously, he does clarify Robin in this scene that end of the day, I'm just saying that if I was to go back into a polygamy relationship, you know, obviously the woman would have to obviously be very attractive and has to be something that obviously I'd want to sleep with. But of course, because of that, that's not a good enough reason to do so. So that was him pretty much trying to tell Robin that, hey, I'm not really down with the whole idea of going back into a polygamous relationship because, you know, if I go back into it, the intentions behind me wanting to go back into it aren't going to be right. They're going to be foul because I'm at an age where I'm only going to care about bringing someone in to just enjoy that part of life because I don't need them to enjoy the other part because I already got you. So therefore, he's basically saying to Robin that I already have everything that I need from a woman in you, so I don't need another one. Obviously, Kody has a very funky way of making his points, as we know. But let's continue.
Have to be an absolute diamond. And I'm not talking about just looks. I'm talking about the kind of devotion to us, to Robin.
To be fair, I do like the fact that he's talking about, obviously, the next woman who would come in should obviously have to be, you know, I guess in other ways, you'd have to understand that Robin is number one. That's what he's basically saying, you know. So that woman would have to be in awe of Robin. That woman can't come into the picture and then start to compete for my attention for Robin. And to be fair, I guess based on his experiences, I get it. I understand it, you know. Does it show a sign of maturity? Let me know your thoughts on that one, please.
Never, and I mean, I'm getting really honest with you here. She would have to adore Robin so much that I would never, ever have to worry about whether she was competing with Robin. The
Which only makes sense. Yeah.
drama in my life of another woman, during our marriage.
No.
You know, our murder face comes out and it's like, stop that. Okay. Those sister witches of yours.
Hey, Kody.
I'll own that title. Absolutely. I'm a sister witch, you bet.
I mean, there was definitely no need for that comment. Literally, calling the ex-wife sister witches is just nasty business. You know, he talked about drama. I mean, bro, like, comments like that is why you had drama. You know, like, and it's crazy because these are women that you married before Robin, and these are women that you had multiple children with as well before Robin. These women are very core to you even having a family. In fact, without those women, you probably would have never met Robin in the first place. Like, there's definitely no need for the disrespect, but obviously Janelle laughed it off. Meanwhile, obviously Christine was like, well, he's getting creative. Mary was like, well, Kody's only confident when he's saying mean names, which is quite interesting in a not so good way.
The problem I see in plural marriage, I don't think those two ladies can get along once I'm in both of their beds, was welcomed by the family. And when her and I went on our honeymoon, it felt like it changed.
Okay. I mean, is he wrong? That's the question. But to be fair, I mean, to be honest with you, I would say that it's easy for him to say that once he got into Robin's bed, that's when it changed with the other three wives. But also at the same time, we can also argue and say that it wasn't necessarily that you got into Robin's bed and started having that physical connection with her. We can argue and say it's also because Robin didn't want to move into the house they had at the time, because they had a big house with all wives, all children, living under the same roofs. The fact that Robin was never a part of, well, the fact that Robin didn't want to be a part of that, you know, that she obviously wanted, well, from what I remember, please correct me if I'm wrong, from what I remember, she wanted to have her house separately away from the rest of them, you know, and then obviously so on and so on, they all ended up pretty much moving out and having different homes. And, you know, I mean, I wouldn't say that was the beginning of the downfall. The downfall was already there beforehand anyway, but that definitely didn't help the downfall that was already happening. Do you see what I'm saying? So yeah, I think there is that part too. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, even if Robin had agreed to live in the same building, the same house as the rest of them with her kids, blah, 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 would it have made a difference to Kody's point? Probably not, but it's something that definitely should be put out there. But hey, let me know your thoughts, please.
Pisses me off when people ask me why I want to be a monogamous still. So didn't you see the mess? I'm done, because the idea of it just breaks my heart. So it's you and me, baby.
And it's
I mean, it's good to know that he knows what he wants. He obviously doesn't want to have another plural marriage because obviously he doesn't want to go through that again, you know, and who could blame him? But at the same time, I think the beef that we can have with Kody here is that he's making it seem as if everything that went downhill in the relationship, none of it was actually his fault. He makes it sound as if it was the other wife's fault, which is why he calls them witches. So the problem there is that it doesn't sound like he's learned from his mistakes. It sounds like he's saying that, hey, I don't want to bring more wives in because they're the problem. Rather than saying, well, I don't want to bring more wives in because I know that I can't handle it, because I know that, you know, I ended up da-da-da-da. In fact, when he was talking about how bringing another woman would be pointless because you only want to bring them in because of the intimacy part, and also you want to bring him in because he would need them to be obsessed with Robin, that kind of showed us a little bit of accountability and growth in him, because he was identifying the things that were wrong before. But him not wanting to be one again, based on the reasons he's given, some of them says he's not fully processed that the wives leaving, he had a big part to play in it too. But boy, accountability is just not his friend.
a challenge to kind of just really say, I'm done with plural marriage. I'm still wondering, still asking those questions, looking for.
Well, obviously Robin is still, you know, on that page where she's like, but plural is really what I want. So I guess we're gonna have to wait and find out. Obviously, how the season plans out. Will Robin be able to convince Kody that she go back into a plural marriage, or will Kody be able to convince Robin that that's not a good idea? We should stick into a monogamous relationship. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. And like I said before, stick around, subscribe, and you know there will be other uploads of everything that went down in this week's episode of Sister Wives. So please make sure you're there for that one. Now, with that being said, I'm done and I'm out. Peace.